And the only real change that Gamble's made is he's cut 2 Searing Spirit for 2 Boros Charms. Outside of that, this is almost card for card what Wesco played at Worlds.
I know that the deck won a PTQ not too long ago, actually.
Yeah, Adrian Sullivan wrote about that.
Yep. And also Ben Friedman took to the deck rather quickly after Worlds as well, and I know he played it in a couple PTQs, I believe, and at least one Open Series, but he has obviously since changed his ways.
He's moved on. Todd Anderson is going to start here with the Godless Shrine and a Champion of the Parish. We're going to see Gamble start with just a Sacred Foundry and pass the turn back, so it looks like Todd will be the aggressor of this game.
Yeah.
And he's got a Cartel Aristocrat, which is a human, so up we go and across for 2. How do you like this Boros deck that Craig played? It hasn't really picked up.
I kind of wanted to try it out. Brad shooed me away from it, and I respect Brad's opinions on Standard because he plays it way more than I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had kind of a feeling he might just be wrong. Like it just might actually be a very good deck.
I tried it out quite a bit after Worlds, streaming it, playing some 8-mans with it, and I certainly liked it. As you see, Anderson's going to play a Sacred Foundry untapped here. You can see a white mana add a Doomed Traveler. Up goes the Champ. There's a Blood Artiste.
This board just got complicated.
Interesting. We see him attack with the Cartel. I think this is an easy block here.
Yep.
What am I missing? Uh-oh. He's going to block here. Okay. So I think Todd may have made a mistake. I think he may have forgotten that Knight had Pro Black.
Yeah, he may have been a little hasty there. I think he should. I actually think the attack's fine, but I think you just sack your Doom Traveler before blockers are declared and get Pro White and get in for the extra 2 damage. Having a Spirit Token against this deck's fine. They obviously have a lot of ground creatures. You don't mind it that much. And when you're taking this aggressive position with a Blood Artist, getting in those 2 points, putting Andrew to 12, it's very strong.
So a slight hiccup there from Anderson as Knight of Glory looked to get in front of the Cartel Aristocrat. Cartel saving itself via Doom Traveler. You see Gamble is going to play a Plains for the turn, and we'll see what he has for turn 3, because he does have the mana to pretty much cast anything at this point. You see, it looks like he might go with a Banisher Priest.
Yep, it's a strong one. Probably taking care of the Blood Artist or the Champion of the Parish. I'm not actually sure which. He's a little weak to Blood Artist just controlling combat. And yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the Blood Artist. It's the kind of card that sneaks up and kills you.
Yeah.
Definitely happens.
See an Exalted Trigger here. The Knight's going to get in a little bit. I'm a little surprised to see the aggressive attack there from Gamble. I like the fact that the Knight would actually be kind of stopping the Cartel Aristocrat from getting in, because Banisher Priest can't block this turn. So
no. Ooh,
this feels like
Todd
a Falcon
capitalizes. Yep, it's a lot of aggression.
So in comes a 4-1 in the air, and Falconwrath Aristocrat, 3-3 Champion, 2-2 Cartel Aristocrat, and a 1-1 Spirit Token. So we're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 damage.
Yep.
Banisher Priest, you're not blocking, my friend. You do not want to give back a Blood Artist.
Yeah, that would basically kill Andrew almost on the spot.
Yeah. So he is in a bad way here. Just a little too aggressive there, I think, with the Knight. I mean, I understand wanting to get some damage across, but he's on the defensive, and he has been since turn 1, in my opinion.
If he hadn't attacked with the Knight, he'd be holding off 2 of the damage, so he'd only be taking 8. But Todd could also pile that damage on with the Falcon Wrath, just throw the Cartel onto it, get in another 1. So it would help him, but it, based on the removal his deck actually has available, it wouldn't help him a significant amount. He's going to need another Banisher Priest to handle the Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. And I wouldn't want to toss a Cartel Aristocrat for a point of damage here, but depending on Todd's hand, it could certainly be a reasonable choice. He is playing a version of the deck that has access to Brimstone Volley, which you have to keep in mind.
Yep.
So if he can get his opponent to 5, he can be pretty confident that that's going to be good.
See, Gamble is going to block that Champion of the Parish, give the Blood Artist back. So, the Banisher Priest did not do a ton this game, as you see.
Yeah.
Gamble does draw a card for the turn. I think it was a Champion. You see he's going to play a Slayer Stronghold. But he is in a lot of trouble, and Blood Artist is only going to compound things here.
Yeah, he is currently dead on board. To Falcon or the Aristocrat attacking. The Spirit Token can also attack. Yeah, the Cartel Aristocrat can attack too. We've got a lot of options for attackers, and the Blood Artist will make any attack lethal as long as a creature with 2 power goes across.
So we'll see if Andrew can do anything to get himself out of this situation.
I don't foresee him finding a solution. He doesn't have access to anything that could, give him some significant lifelink. If he could get 2 blockers into play and hold up a Brave the Elements, he could maybe bluff something. He doesn't have access to Faith Shield or whatever, which is a card that could theoretically apply here if he could get 2/5 before the attack, but looks like he's just going to be out of luck.
And you see him thumbing between a Silverblade Paladin and another Knight of Glory here. And by tapping out and playing the Silverblade Paladin, the champion trigger will resolve. Todd is perfectly fine with that. I think we're going to see Todd quickly untap here and go for the kill.
Why would he untap? He just draws a card and taps all the things that are still in play,
Oh,
right?
I guess that's one thing that you could do.
Sending. I guess we can do the lands. Oh,
Yeah.
the creatures too? That's not my
quick,
style.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm efficient. I'm efficient like that, you know. I like to just...
Yeah, you see Todd's going to come across with just the flyers. Going to knock a gamble down to 2, sacrifice champion here, make it 1.
Trigger Blood Artist.
Yep, don't forget that. And that's actually going to be 5. Yeah, that's exactly enough. 5, 6, and then Blood Artist Trigger is going to make it 7.
We had a plenty.
Oh yeah, Todd Anderson wins game number 1 here over Andrew Gamble. The Aristocrats up a game over Boros Aggro. And I have Boros Aggro's sideboard in front of me, so we'll start here since Andrew Gamble will be on the play.
Sure.
4 Burning Earth, 1 Banisher Priest, 1 Witchbane Orb, 2 Fiend Hunter, 2 Celestial Flare, 3 Rest in Peace, 2 Nearheart Pilgrim. Good thing here for Andrew is that he's got a lot of options here that he's going to want to board in. These Fiend Hunter effects between Banishing Priest and actual Fiend Hunter are quite good against Todd's deck, and Rest in Peace is fantastic here.
Yeah, Rest in Peace is going to be what he really wants to lean on in the post-board games. Looking at Todd's board, he has access to War Priest Athun to head off that strategy.
Yep.
I assume an educated gentleman like Todd will know about the Rest in Pieces that could very easily come in from this deck. He also has access to 2 Profit Loss, which are pretty big swings in pseudo mirrors like this. I don't want to say it's a mirror, but obviously both decks, are Champion of the Parish, can be aggressive. Profit Loss can really throw off Andrew's math on a turn where he thinks he's like alpha striking for the kill before he Boros Charms or something like that.
Yep.
And a Profit Loss could definitely just change things for the worse on his end. Beyond that, not too much. Most of his board is built to help him beat Jund. Things like Sin Collector, he has Slayer the Wicked, some Sorin Lord of Innistrades, 2 Mark of Mutiny, and 2 Appetite for Brains. If he's feeling particularly spicy, he could bring in Mark of Mutiny, as it has a particularly nice interaction with opposing Sublime Archangels, in that it basically Urza's Rage with Kicker Slam from the Black, White, Red Aristocrats deck.
Sure.
So, like, if you wanted to bring in one of those, I actually wouldn't be that opposed to it. It's pretty spicy.
Yeah, I will. I mean, I certainly can see that coming in. I also like the fact that Mark of Mutiny, of course, the obvious interaction with it is just with the Aristocrat, take a guy and sacrifice a guy. But yeah, the fact that you can take a Sublime Archangel and absolutely ruin the opponent with it is certainly appealing.
I suppose it's a reasonable solution to these Banisher Priests and Fiend Hunters as well. So maybe he'll bring in both.
Yeah.
It's not ideal in an aggressive matchup. You'd much rather use Mark of Mutiny when you're getting a lot of value from the Threaten, like against Jund, where it takes a Thrag Tusk and you just get in a bunch of damage and then get a 3/3. That's obviously incredible. Against this deck, significantly less exciting, but it's not a removal heavy deck, and this is a matchup where you might want a little extra. That said, Todd already has a little bit of extra with his 2 Brimstone Volleys, so maybe he'll just stick at 6 spells. Maybe he'll switch the volleys for a mark or 1 volley for a mark. I think he has some options there.
Yeah, the fact that he has 6 removal spells is pretty high for Aristocrats deck. Normally they just play 4 Tragic Slips and just call it a day. Maybe they'll have a couple more on their sideboard. To be starting with 6 and the potential, if we want to look at Mark of Mutiny as a removal spell and move up to 8, makes it so that these Fiend Hunter effects between that and Banisher Priest are nowhere near as potent as they normally would be.
He does have already 2 Zealous Conscripts in the main deck. I think I actually like those cards a reasonable amount, but I might switch one of them out just because it's a 5-drop,
A touch expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even see him make it that far last
when
game.
you're on the draw, I think you really want to be able to punish the Sublime Archangel, and you have to take a hit before Zealous Conscripts will let you do that.
Okay.
But on the play, I would be happy with both Zealous Conscripts in the main deck. I think that's a thing a lot of people don't address in sideboarding. Whether you're on the play or the draw changes a lot of your cards. I remember, playing Nightmares way back when. I was actually sometimes just boarding out all of my Huntmaster spells on the draw.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't steal the initiative, your Huntmaster's just going to die.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to work.
If your deck just doesn't have enough removal to make sure that you can actually kill theirs at some point, then yeah, you're already drawing dead just to them casting the card. So
we'll see what's going to happen. Gamble is going to be on the play here against Todd Anderson. If you guys are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Glenn Jones here in the booth in Philadelphia. Star City Games Open Series has made its way to the city of brotherly love. If you guys do want to join us on Twitter at SCG Live, hashtag SCGPHL. Round 7 of 9, only 9 rounds today. What'd you do? Chase people away?
I blame the football.
That's fair. It is it's like the second week of college football, and tomorrow's the opening day of regular football. Yeah. The couch is appealing this week.
I don't know if you know, but Philadelphia is a pretty big football city.
Tell me more. Tell me more. All right.
There's a team here, or a bird.
Eagles.
Yeah.
They're the Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty popular. no Philadelphians can hear us saying these things. That's why no one's punched us in the face yet. So.
There's also this great movie. I can't remember the name of the movie with Bradley Cooper and you know what movie I'm talking about.
Obviously, I know what movie you're talking about. I just want to watch you flounder a little longer. It's on my iPad, actually.
Oh my god! I watched it on a plane for one of these shows. I can't remember the chick from.
Not gold, but.
Okay, silver. Silver. Come on, I keep wanting to say Silver Sun Pickups, and that's a band.
It's a good band,
They're
too.
very good.
Yeah,
it's a very good band.
Silver Linings
Playbook. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
where the Eagles
the
are
film.
at.
A fine film.
Scale 1 to 10. What do you give it?
It was actually my favorite movie I saw for like a 3-month period, I think. So I think that gives it. It's probably like an 8.
All right.
Maybe a little higher.
That's a good flick.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I was definitely a good way to pass a flight, that's for sure. Where yesterday when I was flying over, I saw Star Trek in darkness, and I fell asleep during it.
Ooh.
Maybe I was doing it wrong. I don't know. I'm a pretty big Chris Pine fan. I just thought it was pretty boring.
I'm actually a huge Star Trek fan, and I was not that into the movie watching it, but it was very well reviewed, which I found kind of puzzling. I was just like, I didn't really like it. Did I do something wrong?
I wanted to get into it. Everyone told me it was really good. The reviews I read said it was really good. Maybe I was just tired.
Maybe you fell asleep before Benedict Cumberbatch really got to turn it on. That's probably what happened.
Okay, yeah, it could be what it is. You see Gamble at 6 cards here. He's going to keep. He's got a planes, but he's got no 1-drop.
Again,
Just
no
gonna
1-drop.
pass the
That's
turn.
rough. Todd misses as well. That's good for Andrew.
No 2.
Whoa.
All right, so this is probably a hand of 3s and Sublime Archangels then.
Yep.
Todd going to play a Mutavault this turn.
Mutavault and Blood Artist.
Sacred Foundry the draw here for Gamble. Let's see if he's got to have a 3 to play.
Yeah, I see a Fiendslayer Paladin and a Silverblade
Right.
at a minimum.
He's gonna go
he
with
also has
Fiendslayer.
2 more lands and something else, so he's spell light right now. That's going to be trouble.
Let's see what Anderson wants to start his 3rd turn with here, because we know he has a couple of lands in his hand. There's an Isolated Chapel, just going to pass the turn back.
Todd appears to lack red mana that can cast, non-vampire spells. He does have a Cavern of Souls in his hand. I imagine he'll be using that to deploy
Got Zealous
one of his red cards.
He's got Zealous Conscripts
Yeah.
in the grip too. See Sacred Foundry going to come to play untapped here for Gamble.
Perhaps I misread one of his cards. I thought he had 2 lands. Sacred Foundry, I clear tell that that's not the case. Sublime Archangel is a big game.
All right, he says, this okay? We've got some Exalted triggers here, so we've got what looks to be a 4/4 Fiendslayer Paladin getting in the red zone. Todd going to immediately block. This smells like a Tragic Slip to me.
Oh, yeah.
Blood Artist is going to do a little Drain and Brain.
Obviously, Todd turning on a Tragic Slip here. Also, note this is the exact interaction we discussed during sideboarding. Sublime Archangel comes down. Todd actually can't really capitalize with that Zealous Conscripts yet. He has to, just kind of answer the Archangel first. He's not getting in the damage. He doesn't have tempo. Cavern, we'll find out what that names. I assume Vampire? Yep, that's definitely Vampire.
In for 4 comes Anderson in the air. Going to knock Gamble down a little bit lower here, as Gamble's going to untap his Fiendslayer Paladin.
It's a pretty favorable race for Gamble, actually, when he's got the follow-up Silverblade Paladin coming.
Well, the race is certainly on. I think he just drew another Sublime Archangel.
Another Sublime
too.
Archangel, indeed.
I think he needs to be careful if here it's just Zealous Conscript and Mark Mutiny type effects. I would want to save that Sublime Archangel and want to get my board more set up. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to go with Knight of Glory and get in for 3.
Interesting. That kind of implies to me that the spell that we haven't seen from his hand is probably Brave the Elements.
Okay.
Because he would want to wait until he can get to a 5th land, play Sublime Archangel with 1 up. Although if that's the case, I would probably have jammed the Silverblade
Yep.
Paladin instead. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe he's hoping to set up a combo kill with the Sublime Archangel instead. Sublime Archangel and Silverblade Paladin, for those not in the know, is a significant amount of damage.
It's completely absurd.
I think it's technically a Bakoodle. I would have to Google to make sure I have the.
I don't even know what that word means. You're going to see Todd activate a Mutavault and come across here with Aristocrat and Mutavault. So, all right,
Turning up the aggro.
He's going to block here with that Knight. They're just going to trade off here.
Yeah, Todd probably going to let that happen.
This
It's
is
a Celestial Flare.
Flare.
That's the spell we couldn't identify. That makes sense as to why he wanted to go here. And he appears to have, after damage, cast that Celestial Flare. So the creatures trade off. Then, during the end of combat step, he plays Celestial Flare to force Todd to sacrifice the still attacking Falcon Wrath. That means he does take 4 damage, but works out.
Yeah, he takes care of the problem at hand, which is Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, which is also going to make that Zealous Conscripts that Anderson has in his hand a little bit worse because he can't actually use the sacrifice interaction when he does threaten a guy. So let's see, Gamble here separating his lands. 2 great cards in his hand. He's got a Sublime Archangel and a Silverblade Paladin. Just which one to play first is the question.
With Todd not having a sack outlet, I would be just jamming that Sublime Archangel and crossing my fingers, right? Like, we get in for 3 here. Hopefully next turn we can go Silverblade Paladin, and that's a lot. He declines to attack with the Fiendslayer Paladin. He doesn't want to turn on Tragic Slip here. That's fair. I would probably, if that was the play he wants to make, I would probably just attack with Fiendslayer Paladin before playing Sublime Archangel, as it's not very likely that Todd just blocks hoping he gets to Tragic Slip a creature.
Yeah,
like
I would agree with
pretty
that.
unlikely. So I think you would have gotten in the 2 damage there the vast majority of the time. The downside being, if Todd does block, he then gets a Spirit Token, which can block Sublime Archangel. So maybe I'm being greedy with my 2 damage there, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the level of greed.
Todd going to try to build a board up here so that if he does take that Sublime Archangel, it's going to attack for a whole lot of damage. Looks to be his plan.
Unfortunately, Andrew's a step ahead of him. If he peels a land, he can actually activate Slayer's Stronghold on the Sublime Archangel after Soul Bonding with Silverblade Paladin, and that will be, well, that's a lot. I think it's actually probably lethal. Yeah, it would be actually exactly lethal. Oh,
looks like he did not
draw land,
though.
I guess.
So we're going to partner up
Unless
here.
the land is a Slayer's Stronghold.
Yeah.
And then we got him.
So we're going to go for 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2 is 14.
Yep. A Boros Charm is also lethal.
That is true. I think he may have drawn Searing Spear for the turn. Did gamble.
Flicking the card, flicking
We'll
the card.
see. He's just going to pass it
the
back.
turn. All right.
All right, Todd, you are put to the test, my friend. Anderson's going to draw his card. It is a Blood Crypt. He's staring at his Zealous Conscripts. And now, yep, he beat me to it. I was going to ask you, do you cast the Zealous Conscripts here?
No.
It doesn't really do anything.
You
but
do not.
Yeah, you just pick it up. You don't give away the information. You move on to the next game. And that's exactly what Todd does. So, Andrew Gamble able to even things up here between Boros Aggro and the Aristocrats.
Yeah, I know what Todd's thinking right now. Celestial Flare? Really?
Yep.
It's a pretty questionable card to bring in, considering Todd has access to Doom Traveler, Zathard Necromancer, and obviously, you know, he just has Gather the Townsfolk, which creates a bunch of creatures as well. So he's probably thinking, I didn't really expect to see that one, you know?
Yeah.
And it certainly was his undoing in this game. It was the turning point of the entire game.
And there are 2 in Gamble's sideboard, so he has evidently brought those in. Makes you wonder, one card that I was actually going to bring up during sideboarding was Nearhearth Pilgrim, and if that's an option that he wanted to bring in as well. I'm not quite sure how good that card is. Just a 2/1, so it doesn't fight very well, but Lifelink is pretty relevant, in this matchup, I think.
On the draw, I might be tempted to, just because I'm going to be a little bit behind as far as tempo goes. On the play, I wouldn't be interested in it at all.
No.
No, not at all. It's a ground creature, which means it gets jammed up by Gather the Townsfolk and Zathard Necromancer pretty bad. Not to mention Doom Traveler. So Todd's just playing multiple cards along the curve that will incidentally neutralize the Nearheath Pilgrim. So you're really just playing it to gain a little life at that point. I don't think it's where you want to be. But, you know, when you need the life to continue playing Magic, it's a little more valuable.
Sure.
So.
Can't argue that. You actually do see Gamble going back to his sideboard for Game 3 because he's going to be on the draw this game, and this is something that you did mention. There is a big difference between being on the play or being on the draw. So Gamble is going to go back to the drawing board. You see he did re-sideboard, or at least reconsult the 15 cards in his deck box, which I always think is smart.
Yeah, at a minimum, he has given Todd the idea that he might have changed something, whether he did or not. And any information, you know, it's all information. Todd's paying attention. You see, he's looking across there. He's thinking things over.
Yeah, he's trying to get a read. Trying to get an idea of what's going on right now. You see him sitting at 5-1 again. Gamble sitting at 5-0-1. So the pair up for Todd. 6 rounds in, 3 to go. Third game on the way. Quick update on some other players who are in the tournament that we've been following as well. Brian Brondewin sitting at 3-2-1. Frowny Town. Not the best weekend for him. We got Chris Van Meter sitting at 5-1. Brad Nelson's girlfriend, Rael. 5-1 with, you told me, Bat Hexproof.
Yeah, I believe she's on the Glebe cover scouts this weekend.
Jarvis Hughes sitting at 4-2. AJ Kerrigan sitting at 4-2. AJ Soccer.
AJ decided to show up at 8 a.m. today, soccer.
Yeah, he
Oh, apparently he has just taken his first loss, falling to 6-1.
John can't always win.
Should have stayed in bed, I guess.
We also have Richard Wynn and Jim Davis sitting at 5-1.
Yep.
So a lot of name players here this weekend in Philadelphia having a fantastic weekend. Soccer now with a blemish on his record, which means Adam Van Fleet is sitting at 7-0.
It does.
That smells like double draw territory to me, my friend.
Yeah, it is, courtesy of the 9-round standard opener that we're running here.
That's right. So congratulations. We don't want to count our chickens before they hatched, but
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's just got a lot of fight in him.
Yeah.
He just wants to play the last two.
yeah. But Adam, it looks like you may be making top 8 this weekend. So congratulations to Mr. Van Fleet and all his fans. As we see that Andrew looks like he's happy with his starting 7, Todd Mulligan immediately.
Interestingly, walking outside among the people, I've noticed that we had
a man among the people.
we have a lot of Naya, Jund, and Aristocrats. Those are actually the 3 most popular decks that I've seen.
Okay.
Among players at the top table, a lot of Nayas, actually much more than I would have normally expected, and I think that owes to a perceived good matchup against Jund. I like the Naya side of the Naya versus Jund matchup.
Okay.
But it definitely varies depending on sideboarding choices. And what you're doing in the main deck, because the games can be grindy. You really want to lean on your threat density. I know our own Osip Lobodavish wrote an article about his Naya deck that he won the PTQ with, and he brought up the idea of sideboarding out Domri raids, which not a lot of people think to sideboard out Domri raid with the Naya deck. I actually think it's important to sideboard out in a number of matchups. I'm not sure if I agree with him on all 4 against Jund, depending on their specific lists, but I'm certainly not against a couple. The card is not actually a threat. Just isn't. It doesn't kill the opponent.
It does not. It can help to kill the opponent in a roundabout way of finding more creatures. So you see Anderson's going to take a mulligan down to 5, but it itself does not kill the opponent. This is true. And I don't want any cards in my deck that don't do that against Jund.
Todd visibly a little frustrated about it, but these things happen.
Hey, mulligan is no
Sometimes you gotta
fun
go to
for
5.
anyone. Hey, we've already seen one win on a mulligan to 5 today too, on camera.
I mean,
So,
most of 5 are not really that much what it goes. Most of 6 really are. That's nothing. That's 6 cards. Who cares?
He's going to keep. He's got a Gauntlet Shrine. He's got a good enough hand. He's going to pass the turn
He
back.
has all 3 colors, which is strong enough for a mold of 5 with a 3-color deck whose mana is not the best.
And it looks like Gamble's got a 1-drop this time, and he does have finally Champion of the Parish from his human deck.
What a time for him to get it.
Yep.
Todd not excited about that.
Orzhov Charm going to clear that out of the way. And he's going to do it right now, so there's no Brave the Elements nonsense. Just get that thing out of the way. Orzhov Charm going to knock Anderson down to 19 and pass the turn back.
But Cedric, it says instant.
It does say instant on the card. You are not wrong.
I do see a Searing Spear in Andrew Gamble's
There
hand.
might be 2.
And odds are he has some 3-drops. Just guessing, based on this being the 3-drop deck.
Todd does draw a Champion of the Parish and plays that. Plays a land and a play tap. His hand right now is double Blood Crypt, so his hand is very, very unexciting. But at least he can play every spell that he draws for the rest of the game. So if you're looking for upsides, that's one of them.
Gamble declines to Searing Spear the champion in Todd's end step. Probably was thinking about Fiend Huntering it on his own turn, but then he drew his own Champion of the Parish and became significantly more interested in other things. Todd, quickly playing through here with the Champion of the Parish. Celestial Flare here. I'm not sure I like that.
I don't love that either. I think I'd rather just Searing Spear like the Necromancer or something, because I don't want to give my... if my opponent's on a mulligan of 5, I don't want to give them any extra cards or let them get any extra value from their cards.
I would probably have just responded to the casting of Necromancer with the Searing Spear.
Sure.
And then untapped into Fiend Hunter on the Necromancer. That seems like a really good line that just denies Todd a ton of value.
I don't think we're going to see a Fiend Hunter here is going to take care of the Zatham Necromancer. Let's hope that Andrew does remember the trigger, which Todd will help him out with. So 2-2 Champion of the Parish coming into the red zone is Todd is going to untap his lands and his Sand Black Zombie token, draw a card, which looks to be a Mark of Mutiny.
It's either that or a volley. It is a mark. Okay, yep. You got it.
Oh.
So we know Todd brought in the marks.
Now he just has to hope that that Gamble doesn't have any any humans or Brave the Elements. That's it.
Yeah. Just has to dodge the old, 28 cards.
Yeah, it's just about it. Here's the Searing Spear. Take care of that zombie token.
It looks like he has a Brave the Elements, a Boros Charm, and a 3rd card in his hand. Yep. Only comes in with the Champion of the Parish.
It's a bit surprising. I'm
curious. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's trying to play around with that one.
Maybe another Necromancer drawn there for Anderson. Yep, so he's going to play Zatham Necromancer and pass. It is a good Magic card. Draw a card, Slayer Stronghold. That's also a good card.
Yeah, that one's real nice. Looks like his hand is Searing Spear, Boros Charm, Brave the Elements. That is very potent. Todd will need a string of spells and good ones to come out of this.
It's going to take a little bit of runner. Nothing funner to get him back into this game. It's going to be very difficult. All three of those spells quite good.
On the upside, Todd's deck is relatively resilient to Brave the Elements as a falter. He has, Gather the Townsfolk and Doom Traveler and Champion of the Parish alongside with the Necromancer to, create multiple colors on defense. So that mode is not as disastrous as it might seem. But Andrew clearly doing some math to see if he can set up a kill on the next turn. I think he's hoping to get Todd to, like 7 and then untap into Spear plus Boros Charm probably is what he's thinking right now.
And just any way to keep pushing damage through it. Don't need to overreact too much to this Necromancer. It's an annoyance. I don't think it's anything more than that.
I would probably just... I can understand it being tempting. You don't want to really blow the Brave for nothing here.
So it has Boros Charm.
I'm unsure what he just did. He made his creature indestructible and then attacked.
Yep.
Todd still blocks, obviously. I'm not sure what our purpose was there. At a minimum, we could have attacked with the Fiend Hunter as well and gotten in another point of damage. I think that's 2 we've missed with that so far, which, when we're a burn deck, is a little tough.
Well, if Todd's going to get back into it in this one, that is what's going to take. It was double strike.
It was double strike and then attack. Okay.
So we're going to see a Brimstone Volley target the Fiend Hunter and Andrew's upkeep. So now there's going to be Brave the Elements, giving protection from red. So Todd tries to get the Zath the Necromancer back. Does not work, but now he's gotten through the Brave part of the game.
He has. Getting that out of there was pretty important. He also now no longer has to worry about getting faltered to death. He might have to worry about getting Sublime Archangel to death.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Sublime Archangel coming down for gamble and just passing the turn back.
Again, he's playing real conservatively around a Tragic Slip here, which, again, if you just attack first, it's not that big a deal. The difference here, I guess, being he doesn't want to trade off that Champion of the Parish, but just a reminder of something to think about. Todd really wants a Cartel Aristocrat to go with that Mark of Unity, so he can just take care of business. As it is, it's going to be a one-turn game for him, unless that was another Brave that Andrew just drew, and I think it... Nope, Champion of the Parish. Whew. All right, we actually do see a live draw step on Todd's turn.
There is a champ, going to trigger the other champion, so that champ's going to move up to a 3/3. And this is a Searing Spear. That's the last card in Gamble's hand right now, but also can just act. He can also use the Slayer Stronghold here. So in comes the Archangel. 4 Exalted Trigger is going to make it 8 power. Going to knock Anderson down to 7.
Declining to activate the Slayer Stronghold is a pretty good tell to Todd here that he's holding a Spear or a Boros Charm. Or, I guess, theoretically, a Celestial Flare. There are not many other cards he could
actually
hold.
He drew the Cartel Aristocrat. Now he's going to mark Mutiny and Sublime Archangel.
Yep.
He is trying his darndest to get back into this game.
Andrew can respond with a Searing Spear targeting his own Sublime Archangel to save himself some damage, but he's not interested in doing that, and I don't blame him.
So it's going to be for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Gamble's going to go down to 10. Sacrifice this to the Cartel Aristocrat. Pass the turn back, Will Anderson. Again, remember that Gamble does have that Searing Spear in his hand as his last card. He's going to draw a card right now. We'll see what it is. It's a Thalia. It's going to trigger both of these champions.
That's problematic for Todd. Obviously, he only has one creature to go along with his Cartel Aristocrat. In response to him trying to save it when it blocks, Andrew can cast Searing Spear to eliminate it from the game, along with the blocking creatures. That'll leave him with all of his permanents against Todd's none.
Looks like he may have missed. So he missed the triggers on his champion.
He missed his Thalia trigger, or his champion triggers from the Thalia. That's actually a pretty big swing. Todd was basically stone dead otherwise, and now Todd's probably wondering what's going on with this attack.
Yeah, this one looks dubious.
Yeah, he can obviously just the double block looks too good to be true, right? He's just like, I think he probably will deduce that Andrew has a Searing Spear or a Boros Charm based on the last turn's play, and probably just line up here the block. I don't think you can do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, how would you block this time? I think the only thing that you can do is double block.
Yeah, it's not even. I mean, everything's horrible. There's nothing good going on here. But just throwing away a creature isn't good. Just taking 3 isn't good. You die to a Boros Charm.
It looks like
he decides to take his chance. All right, well, he's live. He's under 4, so he can peel Gather the Townsfolk.
Yep.
Or under 5, I should say.
And he just drew a Tragic Slip.
Doesn't quite do what he wants, but assuming Andrew continues to attack very conservatively, it might do enough.
So, 2 cards in Gamble's hand.
Andrew's been, real tight with these attacks. An alpha attack here will set up a victory for him, but he does not know that, obviously. But he goes for it, except for the Fiend Hunter. Man, he really just wants that Fiend Hunter not to enter the business end of combat.
Really interesting if Todd should block now or if he should sacrifice a token and zap the Necromancer or what have you. But he's going to block like this.
Yeah, I think it would basically work out very, very similarly.
Yeah. Sacrifice the zombie to give pro-black.
Pro-white.
Or pro-white,
yeah.
excuse me, thank you. I think he pulls a trigger on this Tragic Slip here. You think?
I believe Andrew is thinking about responding to the
sacrifice?
Yeah.
Because he has a Searing Spear in his hand.
Yeah, as I said on the previous turn, Andrew declining to Slayer's Stronghold, the Sublime Archangel, really kind of gave away that it had to be a 2-drop card in his hand, a Boros Charmer Searing Spear.
And there's a Searing Spear, and that is it. So, Andrew Gamble is going to win this match 2-1 over Todd Anderson. Boros Aggro moving on to 6-0-1. Todd picking up his second loss. He'll be 5-2. And what was a very back-and-forth match, but a mulligan to 5 Todd just could not overcome.
Yeah, it was very close. He's obviously in a tough spot, especially facing down the Searing Spear. He would have to peel Gather the Townsfolk during his next draw step, basically, to be alive at all.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty realistic peel. He has 4. So obviously that could have, game could have continued if he had chose to blow the slip there. Of course, Andrew's conservative play with his Fiend Hunter, just refusing to get it into the red zone. I mean, at that point, I feel like he should just be playing O-Ring,
Yeah, sure. What's the point of it being a body?